Hello po. This is my portfolio for semester 2025 to 2026. I'm Abram Kyper, Aguda Acevedo, and I'm 11 years old po. So I'm gonna be starting off with the Bible. This is our memory verse, Psalm 100, verse 2 to 3. Serve the Lord with gladness, come into his presence with singing. Know that the Lord, he is God. It is him who has made us and not ourselves. We are the people and the sheep of his pasture. Psalm 100, verse 2 to 3. This is a psalm of praise and acknowledgement. And it shows that God created us. And not only that, he, we are taken care of by him. Okay, so that's for my Bible. Okay. For English, this is my independent reading, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. He was a Catholic. So, this is my written narration on queer lodgings. That's the chapter where that's the chapter where they find Beorn's house and they spend the overnight there. And that's also the part where they're about to enter Mirkwood Forest. Now for math. So this is what I had for math. I'm actually past long division, but I never really memorized it. So my goal was to memorize long division, and I already know how to do long, and I already know how to do long division. It goes like this. 4 goes into 19 how many times? Well, that's 4 kasi 4, 8, 12, 16. So 16, okay. 19 minus 16, okay. So that's the first step. Divide, okay. And then so subst and then divide, and then so you have to place the 4. How many 4s go into 19, right? So 4. 4 times 4 equals 16. So that's the multiply. So the steps are divide, how many 4s go into 19? Multiply, how many 4s, how many is 4 times 4, and then subtract 19 minus 16 equals 3. Bring down the 3, that's 33. How many 4s can fit into 33? 32. So 32 bring 32 is 32 is the sum of, because 8 fours can fit into 33. So 4 times 8 equals 32. 33 minus 32 equals 1. Bring down the 12. How many 4s can go into 12? 3. 4 times 3, 12. Then so minus 0. Then so 12 minus 12 equals to 0. That means no remainders. So my strategy is the bring down. You just have to use some arrows, and then I just ask myself how many fours go into like this, not divide. Okay, now for Ariling Panlipunan. So we studied clothing. Okay, for Ariling Panlipunan. So many people say that the traditional outfit is the barong and the blouse, and that blouse, the one with the big sleeves. But this was our ancestors. This was how the Filipinos dressed in the pre-colonial period. Ibig sabihin, how they dressed before the Spanish era. So the color also depended on the it also depended on the color. Okay, so if you wore blue and blue, purple, indigo, like that, you were considered part of the middle class or maharlika. Black was given to the lower people, ordinary people. Red was given to the datus, and slaves did not wear anything. And all the Filipino, so the men wore turbans, a three-fourth jacket with a split in the middle, and a skirt, mini skirt, like short skirt. And then the women wore dresses and shawls. Lots and lots and lots and lots of jewelry. This woman would actually be considered poor because it's like they were everywhere. Like at least 5 earrings per each ear, and multiple clips in your hair. And then, however, once the Spaniards came in, they removed the turban because that's a Muslim sign. And then so the shorts were exchanged into trousers. They had shoes now, and this became a closed jacket. For the women, they extended the shawl sleeves so that they would become long and wide at the end, parang kimono style, except for the skirt. However, they kept the shawl, and the shawl be- but and the shawl became clear. Parang then they weaved it using mantila or the pineapple fibers. Okay, now for me, and then of course due to the Spanish Catholic Church, minimal jewelry lang. And then she now would be considered too luxurious for a Catholic baptized woman. Okay, now to music. Okay, we studied Joseph Haydn, alive. So his life, he was born in Austria, and then he was a very aspiring musician. And then so he had so much talent that he moved up to higher and higher schools. And then so he joined multiple choirs, played for churches, and even played for the Empress herself. And then he was basically a prodigy, and he met Mozart and Beethoven, and he went to Europe. Most men, most men's work, most composers' work happened early in their lives, but his happened later in his life. And so that's for music. Now we have this art. Yeah. The word Asaka is means beautiful death in Japanese. So put that together with bouquet, you have beautiful death bouquet. This is like these U-shaped things are tulips. These these are violets, and these are lavenders. This is a monochromatic painting, which means that it's only painted in one color. Even these dots, they're purple, not black. So the color here is purple. This is purple. This is blue purple. And that's blue purple too. So, so this is actually a finger painted picture. So using my index finger, I made multiple U's like this. And then these are my finger dots. These are my finger dots. And then I made this by dragging my index finger from the center to the outside like this. And then using my fingernail, I made the centers. And then these dots here, I also finger painted them. The table I made by taping the edges, and then I painted it using a violet tint. Okay. And then I painted these the flowers, sorry, the leaves, the vase, and the vase, and the table are all painted via brush. The vase pattern and the flowers, they were all painted via finger. And the middle of the violets are fingernails. Okay, now history. Okay. We studied Alexander the Great for history. And so we were required a narration about how about how he died. Okay. And then so this was supposed to be like a script, but it doesn't appear like a script. It's like a play script, but I guess it just compiled. So actually, it's not really just his death. Like from the time that he conquered India, from a little bit before the time he conquered India, then from that point to his death. So so one of the most memorable things there for me is the time when he asked the Indian king, "How do you want to be treated?" Then the Indian king said, "Like a king." I mean, like he could have just asked to pretend to be superior about Alexander, but I don't really get his choice. Okay, now, yeah, okay, yeah. Bawal ka sa seafood. Okay, this is for me. So, it all started in Cagayan. We had gone to Lola Susan's house to make achara, pickled papaya, and then we ate lunch there, which consisted of dukyang, rice, and some soup. After lunch, I went to take a nap, and then in my sleep, I had some difficulty breathing and I felt dizzy. And once I woke up, I got itchy, and then I so itchy that I had to take a bath and take antihistamine. Since I have a history of having rashes due to dust, it was not really much of a surprise because Lola Susan's house is kind of dusty also. It was kind of dusty. And then flash forwards one week later, we went for a date with our lolo and lola on my mom's side. And then we split up. Then me and my lolo went to a Japanese shop to eat takoyaki. And then the next day, Saturday, we went for a dentist appointment. And then while we were traveling there, I suddenly felt dizzy and had difficulty breathing. And then and then I and then we went to eat at our tita's for dinner, at our tita's place for dinner, and then I flared up there, which basically means my eyelids became scaly and bumpy, and then and then we were and then we were baffled, which basically means we were like, why does this happen over and over again? And then, but we dismissed it. And then, however, once I flared up again, I Mama decided to take me to the doctor, and then at a clinic, and then the doctor said that I should have been rushed to the ER both in Cagayan and on the visit to the dentist. It was lethal, and then my body reacted with anaphylaxis, which basically means against yourself. It's the body fight sees it as a lethal allergen, and then so it fights it. Then and then so three other doctors confirmed that I was supposed to be rushed to the ER. uh that doctor that we see that we saw, our familypedia, and the allergologist that we visited. They all confirmed it. And then so we discovered that I was seriously allergic to seafood because I ate salad dressing which had Worcestershire sauce, which has anchovies. And then I broke out. It was not even the main ingredient. So I'm gonna avoid seafood for a while, okay? Filipino. Okay, so our Filipino book for this quarter is mga kwento ni Lola Basyang. Lola Basyang is a man, but he's not gay. He not gay. So the story you're reading about was called Yung Prinsesa ay Mapulubi, something like that. And then so so the princess Mafalda is basically a Nars princess who did not want to get married. And however, her father was against her wishes, and he wanted her to get married so that the crown can pass on. And however, she made sure that she didn't accept any one of the suitors that had arrived because her father uh arranged a huge party for the suitors who wanted to come to win her heart. She found all lists of complaints for them. She like this one's too big. This one that walks like a duck. This one has the eyes of a shrimp. And then so I was required to draw my favorite scene. Then so my favorite scene is when she refused to get married. So that's her, brown, and then so she's a unique princess on my opinion. She's such a unique princess. Not wanting to obey, not wanting to get married, and most of all a narcissist. Because most princesses are like kind and want to obey, want to get married. Okay, and then lastly, here, La Fabricación de Bolet de Viande. Basically, the making of meatballs. So here, Mama mix the meatball mixture, which basically parsley, salt and pepper, bread, milk, meat, ground pork, actually half and half, ground pork and beef, garlic and minced onions. Then so we were required and egg. Then we were required to shape them. So the so this is how you shape the meatballs. First you have to place on your gloves and then so you have to measure 50 grams of the meatball mixture into and then take it, then form it into a ball. Here's the strategy. You roll it quickly and then you do like this with your hands, then clump it like that. And then so me and Dib were racing to place down the most meatballs. And then and sadly though, the meatballs would shrink. So you shouldn't make it too small because you're gonna get this size meatballs. Too big, there's gonna be like raw meat at the center, and then if you bake it some more, the outside will be dry. So you have to make it medium sized, so that it's moist all throughout. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening.